What's going on, YouTube? Hope everybody out there is having a great and fabulous day. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Pretty much, how the hell are ya? Welcome back, guys. I want to go ahead and see if I can help you guys out. There are 5 things that you could be doing to your bike to keep it happy and healthy. And in today's video, that's what we're going to be talking about. Let's get it. So we all know, or should know, God please, you definitely should know that your bike requires regular service to keep it happy and healthy. And we all know that every time you go to the dealership or wherever your service center is, it can get a little expensive, if not a lot expensive, if that's even a way to say it. I remember when I got my first street bike, I went in there to get some tires replaced, and I was upsold on a brake fluid flush and a brake bleed. Now, I didn't know what the hell that meant. All I knew is that apparently my brake fluid was dark in color, and that was warranted enough for a flush and a bleed. Me loving my bike had no issue with that. I said, okay, fine, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. I know that they're going to change something in my brakes, and I know that the end result is going to mean that my brakes are going to have cleaner fluid and better feedback. I didn't really know much about anything when it comes to wrenching on my own bike. Number 1. Oh, and before we start, some of the items on this list involve you working with critical engine components, and you and only you will be responsible. Let's start things off simple. No need to start checking your Ducati Desmo valves right off the bat. An oil change is one of the most satisfying yet necessary bits that you could do to keep your bike happy. It's a simple job, yet quickly can escalate to disaster. You could strip a drain bolt, forget to put oil back in, not put enough oil, or put too much. Thankfully, there are a lot of resources out there, and many people would be happy to help you with any questions that you may have. Another way, if you're not the friendly type or don't like talking to people, is buying a service manual. I can't stress this enough. Whenever I buy a new bike, that is my first mod that I do. I get a service manual because I want to know where everything is and how to take it apart if I need to. Doing the oil change, it will give you the confidence to, I can do my coolant, I could do my brakes, I could do this, I could do that. The stepping stone to move on to other maintenance components of your bike. So set it for a day in the week, maybe on the weekend. It's probably best because it will probably take you a lot longer than what it should take. Engines are unforgiving, and if you mess something up, it's a problem. Number 2. Tires, where your rubber meets the road. Now, I have to say, this is probably my least favorite job to do on a bike, and I still hate doing it. But what I mean by tires, because that's a pretty broad term, I mean removal of your front and rear wheel, and also being able to repair a tire. Now, it might not matter to someone that really just rides around town, but things change and your desires might change. Maybe you decide to start doing longer trips. I pray that you don't have a flat tire in the middle of nowhere. When removing the front wheel, it consists you of always removing the brake calipers. It's a secondary step to complete your first one. So you can't take off the front wheel without taking off the front brake. So you would have to learn how to do that in order to do the first one. Knowing how to do these basic jobs opens your eyes and your mind to other parts of your bike. Let's move on to number 3. So number 3 is changing your air filter. When it comes to changing your air filter, it all comes down to your bike. You might get lucky and it's super easy for you to reach your air filter. But on most bikes, it requires you to remove a lot of components to get to it. We're talking fairings, gas tank, seat, airbox, and a host of wires and connectors. There is a lot of them. I'll give you some helpful tips that I was given a while ago. Number 1, take pictures. Lots of pictures. Take videos of anything to help you remember where everything goes when it's time to put everything back together. Number 2, be careful with all the fasteners. Be careful when removing bolts, screwing bolts back in, especially when it comes to the airbox. The airbox is usually made out of a plastic, and the screws that are being used are almost always metal. So it's easy to strip those threads, quickly. This job can be intimidating due to the fact that there is so much that has to be removed from your bike. But like I mentioned before, you will be performing all these tasks and they will become a secondary process to your future primary jobs that you plan on doing, like changing your spark plugs, valve checks, fuel pumps, cooling changes. Every single one of these items on my list, I will say it again, they all connect with something else. And for number 4 on my list is your motorcycle chain. And what do I mean by that? Yeah, sure, cleaning and lubing, I mean, that's very, very easy and you should be doing that already. I'm talking about adjusting your chain and possibly changing it. We all love some bling on our bike, and what's better than having a shiny gold chain? I remember the first time that I went to change my chain and adjust it, and I have to say, I literally was shitting bricks. It took me a few hours, and I was asking a bunch of questions and watching a ton of YouTube videos. One thing that I can not stress enough is there is no such thing as a stupid question. There is only stupid answers. So ask away. If you have a friend that is more mechanically inclined, ask them. I am sure that they will help you. Before you do trying that, I would say do what I did. I went to a few dealerships and I asked them if they had a spare chain or an old chain or something in the garbage so I could practice using a chain breaker tool on it. And by doing so, I'm not going to mess up my OEM one or my new one because it would be a big problem and a big waste of money, and yeah, I didn't want to deal. So take your time, don't rush, ask a bunch of questions, watch videos, research, and you'll be fine. And wrapping things up with our number 5 spot, this might surprise you because it's not a job per se, but more of just educate yourself, gather up as much information and knowledge as you possibly can. Go out to your bike right now. I want you to start pointing and touching every component on your bike. Write them down if you have to and start researching. Like, oh, okay, this is the water pump. Nice. What does the water pump do? How does the water pump work? What is inside the water pump? A great resource is a parts fiche like the one you see on your screen or a schematic. By pulling it up online, you'll be able to see exactly every single part in order that's inside the engine. You don't know how many times I have been saved by a parts fiche. It has helped me beyond what you could even imagine. Also, you know, it's just getting you to start asking more questions of the why and the how and the what. Asking questions will open up a door and eventually motivate you enough to start working on your own bikes. So there you go. That is 5 things that you guys can start doing that will increase your confidence and ability to work on your own machine. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. And with that, my friends, stay up, 2 wheels down, peace.